Islam. Begin with the Moorish prayer. 5 on the left, 2 on the right, facing east, 45 degree angle. Allah of the universe, of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah, my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through His holy prophet, our noble Dwali. Amen. Islam. Let's continue with the Christian codes. I stopped at 10. We're going to continue with Article 11. Right? Article 11. Masters, Article 11. Masters shall have their Christian slaves buried in consecrated ground. Article 12. We forbid slaves to carry offensive weapons or heavy sticks under the penalty of being whipped and of having said weapons confiscated for the benefits of the person seizing the same. An exception is made in favor of those slaves who are hunting or are shooting for their masters, and who carry with them a written permission to that effect, or are being designated by some known mark or badge. Article 13. We forbid slaves belonging to different masters to gather in crowds, by day or by night, under the pretext of a wedding or for any other cause, either at the dwelling or on the grounds of one of their masters or elsewhere, unless on the highways or in selected places, under the penalty of corporal punishment, which shall not be less than the whip. In case of frequent offenses of the kind, the offenders shall be branded with the mark of the flower de luce, and should there be aggravating circumstances, capital punishment may be applied at the discretion of the judges. We command all of our subjects, be they officials or not, to seize offenders, to arrest and conduct them to prison, although there should be no judgment against them. Did you hear this? Yo, this is like really scary and shit, for real. I mean, serious. Alright. No human should be endure that. You know, we all have a right to life. One must get consent for servitude. Is that not feasible? This is ridiculous. In my opinion, period. Like, it's downright fucking spooky. Alright, Article 14. Masters who shall be convicted of having permitted or tolerated such gatherings as aforesaid, composed of other slaves than their own, shall be sentenced individually to indemnify their neighbors for the damages occasioned by said gatherings, and to pay for the first time a fine of 30 livres and double that sum on the receptions of the offense. And they're asking for monetary compensation. This is overwhelming. Article 15. We forbid Negroes to sell any commodities. This is all applicable today. You know, let's use intelligent thinking here. We got to stop. We got to stop this. We're hurting ourselves, and we're hurting the universe, and we're hurting the earth. We're hurting Mother Nature, and we're definitely hurting our country, Morocco. She's endured enough from outsiders. All right, let me begin again. Article 15. We forbid Negroes to sell any commodities, provisions, or produce of any kind without the written permission of their masters or without wearing their known marks or badges, and any person purchasing anything from Negroes in violation of this article shall be sentenced to pay a fine of 1,500 livres. This is very interesting. Article 16, 17, 18, and 19 provided at length for the clothing of slaves and for their substance. Article 20. Slaves who shall not be properly fed, clad, and provided for by their masters. That was in parenthesis, what do you call that? Comma, quote. It actually wasn't in quote, it was in comma. May give information thereof to the Attorney General of the Supreme Council or to all the officers of an inferior jurisdiction, and may put the written exposition of their wrongs into the hands, upon which information, and even ex officio, shall the information come from another quarter. The Attorney General shall prosecute said masters without charging any cost to the complainant. It is our will that this regulation be observed in all accusations for crimes or barbarous and inhumane treatment brought by slaves against their masters. Article 21. Slaves who are disabled from working either by old age, disease, or otherwise, be the disease incurable or nor, shall be fed and provided by or for by their masters, and in case they should have been abandoned by said masters, said slaves shall be adjudged to the nearest hospital, to which said master shall oblige to pay 8 cents a day for the food and maintenance of one of these slaves, and for the payment of this sum, said hospital shall have a lien on the plantation masters. Wow. All right. I think I was up to Article. Let me just do Article 11 again. Article 11. Masters shall have their Christian slaves buried in concentrated ground. Article 12. We forbid slaves to carry offensive weapons or heavy sticks under the penalty of being whipped, and of having said weapons confiscated for the benefits of the person seizing the same. An exception is made in favor of those slaves who are hunting or are shooting for their masters, and who carry with them a written permission in that effect, or are bring designated by some known mark or badge. Excuse me. Article 13, that's what I think I was up to. We forbid slaves belonging to different masters to gather in crowds, either by day or by night. I think I read that too. Under the pretext of a wedding or for any other cause, either at the dwelling or on the grounds of one of their masters or elsewhere, unless on the highways or in scheduled places, under the penalty of corporal punishment, which shall not be less than the whip. In case of frequent offenses of the kind, the offenses shall be branded with the mark of the flower de luce. I think I read this. And should there be aggravating circumstances, capital punishment may be applied at the discretion of the judges. We command all of our subjects, be they officials or not, to seize offenders, to arrest and conduct them to prison, although there should be no judgment against them. Well, I think there's enough judgment against them already. All right, Article 14. Masters who shall be convicted of having permitted or tolerated such gatherings as aforesaid, composed of other slaves than their own, shall be sentenced individually to indemnify their neighbors It seems like I've read this already. I did. All right. Let me just finish. Composed of other slaves than their own, shall be sentenced individually to indemnify their neighbors for the damages occasioned by said gatherings and to pay for the first